Welcome to Review Nation, and today I am reviewing Symphony X 5, the new Mythology Suite. Now, this album is a very interesting album overall, incorporating many different styles of music, from orchestral, symphonic, classical, to even progressive. This is a progressive metal album with many different features. This album has a very distinctive sound. The previous album, which was Twilight and Olympus, was more of maybe a heavier album by Symphony X, but you could tell they were changing their sound. The 5, the new Mythology Suite, definitely showcases the brilliance. We had the drummer Thomas Walling that had left the band, and Jason Rulo came back. Thomas Miller also left, which we saw a new bassist, Michael LePond. So first of all, the production on this album is pretty good. I love the reverby sounds, how atmospheric it is, and overall the guitar tones throughout this album are pretty good. Russell Allen's vocals are again absolutely fantastic. Can I just say it's probably one of his best vocal performances in a Symphony X album. Although the Odyssey was also a great vocal performance by Russell Allen, I just feel there's so much emotion conveyed throughout Russell Allen's voice on this album that you just cannot help but really enjoy the journey you are getting taken on as he tells you this epic concept of an album. Let's talk about one of the negatives of this album, is that the concept of this album is quite hard to follow. The concept is about the story of Atlantis, ancient Egyptian mythology and astrology. There are certain other perspectives of things like Casey's perspective. This is all about a protagonist trying to rediscover the knowledge and culture and information of the Atlantean culture. Overall, this epic album tells a huge story, and I tell you what, I could be here for hours explaining you what this album would be about, but maybe this will be better on a separate video. So first of all, let's kick off with Prelude. Beautiful orchestral classical themed style song, and it's beautiful. It's about a minute long. It's a really nice interlude that leads beautifully onto Evolution, the Grand Design. Here we are, children of sun and stars. I love how melodic this song is. This is one of the melodic songs of the album. Russell Allen's vocals on this are just fantastic. I love the dynamic range and a really nice falsetto he provides throughout this song. But not only that, Michael Romeo guitars throughout this song are just really good, and I love the gritty riffs that he provides. And the intricate bass licks you're getting throughout this song. The keyboard moments as well by Michael Pinella is absolutely fantastic. I just really love the drawing moments, but the drumming as Jason Rulo comes in again firing at all cylinders is absolutely magnificent. I love the drum fills throughout the song, and that chorus, that soaring chorus, is absolutely fantastic. The chord progression throughout the song is one of the best of the album. This album flows seamlessly into Fallen. Fallen is another hard, energetic, fast-hitting song by Symphony X. Russell Allen's vocals are again distinctive, rich and warm, and love how it's so atmospheric. The vocal layering throughout the song is one of the best off the album, and again I love how this transitions seamlessly into the chorus. The guitar riffs, the chord progression, the amazing guitar solos. The bass is throughout the song, and not to mention the really nice tight little ghost notes that Jason Rulo provides throughout this song. And Michael Pinella is an absolute star with the keyboards, creating that element of surprise, creating that atmosphere, which overall would tell an intense story. Transcendence is a segue to Communion and the Oracle. Now, Transcendence is a beautiful orchestral piece, and I just love the overall dominance of how beautiful it is leading on to Communion and the Oracle. From the skies looking down on you. leads on to communion and the oracle, and you can tell that things are starting to really pick up the story. And it's all about the confrontation of Atlantis and how war is starting to build over good and evil. And I just love the overall concept of this song. But what is absolutely really nice on this song is the overall slow-paced drumming and also some ballady moments, especially that chorus. But I do love that really nice, beautiful, soothing, clean guitar by Michael Romeo.
Son, hear our prayer, keep her up in sky divine, up on a soul.
And not only that, it's a fairly long song by Symphony X. This album is one of the best flowing albums I have heard. This whole album just feels like one entire song. It's like you're watching a movie. This is how good this album is. Russell Allen's vocals throughout Communion and the Oracle are just fantastic. You can tell there is some confrontation between the city of Atlantis and all about the children of Belial, and how one person, Miat, is the balance of all power. How beautiful and blissful this song is. It leads on to Bird, Serpent, War, and Cataclysm, much more heavier song by Symphony X. And I do really love the vocal style by Russell Allen throughout the song, and not to mention the crazy moments with the guitars and keyboards. The rhythm section on this particular song is absolutely fantastic, and overall it's such another intense song. The Bird, Serpent, War is a much more heavier song of the album. But then it leads on to the second part, Cataclysm, which is a much more lighter style song. And this is when they incorporate those orchestral, symphonic, classic elements. Song near-classical elements, that's the word, near-classical style, and it leads on to On the Breath of Poseidon, a beautiful segue. A lovely segue, and this just flows beautifully onto the next track. And On Breath of Poseidon is a beautiful orchestral piece of beautiful neoclassical metal music. If you love classical music, you'll certainly love this piece of music. But all of a sudden, Jason Derulo comes in pounding those drums, and then the guitars come in, and it's definitely one of the best moments of the album. And then it beautifully leads on to Egypt. Egypt, such a beautiful, intense, progressive metal song, one of the progressive metal songs off the album, and this is one of the best guitar solos by Michael Romeo, and one of the best guitar solos I have heard in my entire life. This song is absolutely fantastic. At first, it's got that Arabian feel. So it's Arabian feel, something like Out of Home by Dream Theater. I love the atmospheric vibe they are delivering. Michael Romeo's riffage throughout this song is just infectious. The riffs on this song is infectious, and not to mention, man, that guitar solo is mouth-watering. I fucking love that solo. Absolutely love that solo, especially along with that really nice prominent bass line by Lee Pond and the awesome drumming by Rulo. But that guitar solo is fantastic, as Penelope provides those keyboard moments throughout the song. Egypt, one of the best songs of the album, hands down. Leads on to The Death of Balance, Lacrimosa. Now this is probably one of the most, again, progressive pieces of music. Again, it's very similar to The Breath of Poseidon, except it's more progressive. And the different changing signatures throughout the song, and the prominent drums throughout the song as well, not to mention the really nice drum fills, along with the different changing signatures throughout the song, along with that nice orchestral themed element. deaf and balanced Lacrimosa would definitely be unbalanced. Like, this song does feel unbalanced, it does feel disjointed, but it's disjointed in a good way, if you get what I mean. It's very progressive. There are different changing signatures throughout the song, and the really fast-paced riffages by Michael Romeo, and the nice guitar licks as well throughout the song. And I just love the deaf or balance would ideally be one person ruling the ultimate five. Throughout this album, they talk about the ultimate five, and I just love the concept of what five is. Again, I might actually create a video of the meaning of this concept album, because a lot of people are confused about this concept album. I'm still trying to get my head around the actual concept of the album, but maybe if you want to see me explain to you what the actual album is about, I'd be happy to. It's about the downfall of maybe a kingdom, or the downfall of Atlantis. It leads on to Absence of Light.
So falls the night, the darkest hour.
First of all, Romeo says, fuck that, I'm going to do a solo. I'm going to do a solo right in the introduction, and the solo is absolutely fantastic. This is one of the best vocal performances by Russell Allen, in my opinion. I just love the falsetto, the range, the vibrato he delivers throughout this song, but it's probably got one of the most catchiest choruses off the album, and I love melodic stuff, I really do, and the Absence of Light would ideally be probably my favorite song off this album. It's just because of how melodic it is, and how there are gang chants throughout the chorus, how everyone just harmonizes so well. Absence of Light. I just love the gritty guitar riffs throughout this song. Mention a really good, really nice keyboard solo by Penella. Penella really shines throughout the song. So Absence of Light would ideally be the unbalance of power. Like, this certain individual has just thrown everything off equilibrium, and I just love it. And A Fool's Paradise would ideally be the stabilization of balance. Again, Absence of Light leads beautifully on The Fool's Paradise.
Is this the end of all we know?
Fool's Paradise, it's more of a power metal song, and it's just the overall galloping drums by Rulo, but again, it's pretty progressive power metal song as well, and I love the Fool's Paradise for what it is. The chorus is again quite catchy. There is also some really nice moments as well, especially like Romeo's guitar moments, the intricate guitar licks. Strong orchestral feel you're getting throughout this song. Then it leads on to Rediscovery. A very slow, somber song that goes for about a minute 20, and this to me is telling me there is good and evil. People trying to find newer technology in order to enhance life, in order to improve life, in order to move forward. It's a beautiful instrumental that leads on to Rediscovery Part 2, the new mythology. And overall, we are talking about the title track of the album, and it's such a beautiful way to actually end the album overall. There are certain different elements, very progressive. There's also some really nice, absolutely fantastic guitar moments by Romeo, nice solos. Penella really shines throughout the song. There's also some really awesome drum moments throughout Rediscovery Part 2, and overall it's just a fantastic way to end off the album. And the conclusion, guitar is actually the closing of the album. There's some lovely piano moments by Penella. It starts off heavy, but it really becomes very symphonic, especially throughout the conclusion. What can I say about this album? This album is one of the best albums by Symphony X, and I absolutely love it. Rulo really shines, like all these members really shine, and not to mention Michael Lepond, the new bassist. I think this is actually the current lineup as well now. Alan, Romeo, Penella, Rulo, and Lepond to present day. They really shine. All these members really shine. It makes it such a cohesive album. I hear a lot of people saying that this album's very disjointed. I don't understand why people are saying this album's very disjointed, because to me, I think they are talking shit. They really are talking shit, because this album is one of the most seamlessly flowing albums I've ever fucking heard in my fucking entire life. It just feels like one whole entire fucking song. Like, a lot of people don't understand the concept of the album. Although it's very hard to understand the concept of the album, they're talking about many different mythologies, Egyptian mythologies, Atlantis mythologies, and all that. And it can be very hard, but if you just like music, if you just love how progressive it is, maybe you just forget about the lyrics. Just forget about the lyrics and just enjoy it one hell of a time, especially through 5, the new Mythology Suite. Symphony X really talk about the number 5. Although I'm trying to get my head around what the number 5 means, maybe the number 5 also means the balance of powers. But overall, Symphony X 5, the new Mythology Suite, gets a solid 9 out of 10. It's a masterpiece of an album. Spoiler alert, it's probably my favorite Symphony X album. And yeah, comment below if you want me to review any other Symphony X albums. Comment below what you think about this album as well. Did this blow you away like it did with me? But hey, if you want another progressive metal album review, click on Threshold's March of Progress, an album review I did, another fantastic album. So I hope you did enjoy this album review. Keep the discussion going in the comment section below. Subscribe if you want, and I will see you in the next one.